Uncle Guido once again, coming to you amidst the sequestration of the amazing plandemic dubbed the COVID-19. Well, I've been studying with my extra time here at my home, and I've been pontificating a lot about what's going on and how this is contrived, planned, sprung upon you to change reality, the new now. God, I hate that thing. Anyway, I've done enough bloviating on the biases of my own perception of this situation, and I determined I need to get back to basics, back to the tarot basics, the tarot that led me to my own ever unfolding enlightenment, led me to a place of peace and harmony within my own created reality, even amidst such difficulties that the world of man is now going through in its own death spiral of unraveling. We've known for quite some time that we've been out of touch with nature, out of harmony with the universe, out of sync with the limited resources that this great Mother Earth of ours can provide. We've allowed those to plunder and exploit for far too long. And so, with that being said, I will leave that at that, and let us get back to why I feel we are really here. And that is to evolve, to become something more than we are. This little meat bag chrysalis is just a caterpillar munching on leaves, trying to grope its way through the material world, when a butterfly is inside waiting to come out and explore the higher realms and to go on its evolutionary journey towards its higher self. So, that being said, I've laid out the major arcana of the Holy Tarot, and we're going to do something called the Fool's Journey. And so I'm going to get up and refocus the camera on the cards that I have spread out here, and we're going to look at this. This is the major arcana. Let me get her all zippered there. Okay, I hope you can see all that. There's a little bit of the sun not quite there. Alrighty, Uncle Guido, coughing up the old mystical, magical musings of my mind's meanderings to mystify and delight all my frail followers who might have a slight tendency to agree with some of my observations. Anyway, I call this the Fool's Journey. There's our wonderful friend the Fool. I am the Fool, you are the Fool. We're all our own special brands of idiots, as George Gurdjieff once put it. And so we must make a toast to the Fool, who embodies the spirit in the other side, who has constructed this reality, the earth plane, to come and forget its connection to the whole, and to learn the valuable lessons of duality, of right and wrong, of this and that, of hot and cold, of ouch and ooh. Anywho, the Fool represents the zero concept, the wholeness of one from the other side spirit, getting ready to leap off into incarnation. And what the major arcana of the Tarot represent is the lessons to be learned. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 21, 22 cards of the major arcana, including the Fool. Now the Fool holds a special place on the other side, and he can go anywhere he wants to explore any of these things. And what I call these cards, these major arcana, are the various initiations that one will go through, whether he's conscious of it or not, you will embody each and every one of these archetypical symbols, these archetypical people. First thing first, the act of coming and becoming is what we quantify as a positive or male energy. And so we have the magician here. Look at the magician. He's a royal kind of guy. He's dressed nicely. He's got his hand up pointing towards God and the universe, and another hand pointing down to earth. So he is the conduit of infinite action here on the material plane. Before him are his four elements: the cups, the sword, the wand, and the pentacle. And these are his tools he brings as he explores the four directions of the material universe, of this world, great Gaia Earth. And he goes about coming up with new ideas and new adventures and new beginnings for whatever he deems fit. Okay, then we come immediately to the High Priestess, the second principle. And she is the guardian of the intuition, where the magician is logic and male and left brain. She is right brain, intuition, inner contemplative quietness. Where the male is out there and raising all sorts of ruckus, she goes quietly within and tries to discern and reaches for higher mind. She also longs to combine the dualities between the two poles of dark and light. She sits holding the sacred text of the Torah, Torah. She represents choices. Now let's remember our numerology fits right over the top of this. 1 is beginning. 2 is choices. 3 is creativity. 4 is work. 5 is change. 6 is relationships. 7 is spirituality. 8 is mastery. 9 is completion. And then we get to a new level with the 10, and it starts all over again. Same ideas numerologically, only on a higher octave. Here to be explored at different levels. Okay? So, basically in my teachings, after the 2, we come to the 3. This is Mother Earth, Mother Creation. You take a seed, you plant it, and something is nurtured into existence. If you do the nurturing, and that's the work of the 4. The plowing, the hoeing, the watering, the feeding, the weeding of the seed. The Emperor also represents the reaping of what you sow from that seed. These 4 processes are always going on constantly within day-to-day life. You're always starting something new, making a choice about something, creating something. Even if it's just the creation of boredom and the same old ho-hum, you're still creating something. And you're still working at it in some form or another. That old Emperor is there. And from the toils of your labors you shall reap what you sow. So remember that. If you do a half-ass job, you're going to get a half-ass crop. Anyway, at this point we go through life and we're saying, okay, this is how the game is played. And we see here that they have given us an emperor to show us how the game should be played. There are rules to this game. There are structures. There are laws to be obeyed. There are taxes to be collected. Yes, so let's give you an emperor here to remind you of this fact. Well, at a certain point, the 5 concept, which I like the Roman numeral V versus 5, you say this is the point at where change and freedom are necessary, and you need to be adaptable, and you need to try something different. You need to take a day off. You need to play. Anyway, for some reason, these old medieval tarot decks gave us a Pope and a Hierophant here, because I believe that the popes got together with the emperors and said, look, we can't have man thinking this stuff out for himself. We need some sort of intermediary between man and the big old scary god in the sky. So let's stick a pope right there in the way and bar his pathway to freedom and pleasure and play and change. Let's keep things just the way they are so that we can control them and go to the bank laughing every day and keep the change to a minimum only when it suits us. So that's kind of what happened there. And so there are some really big lessons. This is the first hurdle to get past. How do you fit within the structure of things? How do you play the game? How do you give unto Caesar that which is Caesar's? And how do you claim your own power and authority? This right in here is where we begin to say, am I the creator of my own universe, or am I a victim to circumstance? Do I have free will? Has destiny played me the only hand I've got, or can I adapt and change? Look at the higher octave of this. There's an angel. And so this says that there are things to be transmuted and looked beyond. 5 in this position generally represents spirituality, and so the herd has given us a way to understand our spirituality. They have given us all of our belief structures and said, look, here's the deal. You do this, you do that, you throw some clink in the plate, you're going to have a feather bed in heaven, and you'll be part of the tribe and well loved here on earth. And that's just how it's done, Pally Poo. So get in line, get your dough ready, and get on your knees. Be a little frightened here, because if you don't play the game right, the big angry God in the sky is going to come smote you or something like that. Yeah, well, okay. We all need to go through that lesson and see what that's about and see where that leads, okay? Yes, sirree, Bob. I'm thinking that there's a little more to it than that, but that's just me. You decide for yourself where you're at in the progression of your own evolution. So, in the midst of the next lesson is our interaction with others, the 6, the Lover's card. And there's all sorts of implications there. We could each one of these cards we could talk about for a whole day, because there's so much in there that we've got to look at. But this is the Fool's Journey. We're just giving you a brief overview. I'm like, okay, what does it mean to be in love? What does it mean to share? But what's really at the basis of this? Look at this in its higher octave here. There are 2 parts in each and every one of us that we must harmonize. Our male side and our female side. Our left brain and our right brain. Our yin and our yang. And we must become whole unto ourselves and rise into our higher nature. That's what the angel symbolizes, our higher self. And we must bring this higher self into existence so that we may be of service. The 6 is about relationships and service. And what do I bring to the party? What do I have to offer? What do I have to give? So there's a million different lessons there. And in future broadcasts, we will look at the cards individually. And we have talked about this before. Next on the journey is, okay, I've been with people, I've listened to popes, I've paid my taxes. Where am I going? How can I really make this thing called life work for myself? And this is where we start to go into an even deeper level of spirituality to find true inner harmony and balance. At this point, when we balance the dualities within us, we come back to the second symbol of the lemniscate that we saw in the beginning of the Magician. And this is the Strength card. And once we have balanced out that feminine with the masculine, we have a tremendous power to wield and create our reality in infinite terms. This completes the first realm, and this is pretty much day-to-day life. We go through all of this to some degree. At this point, we turn back, and the Hermit says, let's review what we've done here. Let's look back upon this journey and give homage and thanks so that we may proceed to the next level. Doesn't mean we're not going to keep returning here all the time and reviewing these lessons and seeing what they look like. But at the stage of the Hermit, and this is where humanity is right now with this COVID thing. We've been out of sorts for a long time. The vibes have been ramping up. We're trying to evolve. And the status quo powers that be have unleashed a plandemic to hold us back and keep us in fear and keep us going to the bank to play their little games just the way they like them. Well, I'm saying the only game to play here is to know thyself, to go within and discover your own spiritual pathway, to create your own reality, to be of service, to make the world a better place, to do unto others as you had done to yourself. This sort of thinking leads us to the next tier of experiences, and as you can see in through the middle here, it gets a little hairball. it gets a little juicy. They have devils and towers collapsing, and old death is there. But the next new beginning is the new beginning at this higher level of vibration. You've been there, done the hat, all that, bought that, and now you're ready to expand into a wider world. And the first thing you have to look at is, what have my choices brought me? Look at how these are so similar. This is called justice. And this is the act of beginning to balance one's karma and find one's true dharma in the world. And looking at your choices through spiritual eyes. At this point, you say, well, my spiritual eyes, I got a lot of malarkey from those who told me the way it was, but it just doesn't seem so, and so I feel kind of hung out to dry because my own consciousness is starting to rebel against the status quo, and I'm starting to become a little black sheep of the thing here, so I don't know what to do. So this guy feels like he's hung out to dry somewhat, and that's one of the first hurdles, when you feel like you've left the fold and you've nowhere to go and you've been abandoned by God, and you're just kind of hung out there. And once you get to this point, this is the point of surrender. Surrender to the higher creative force that wants to work with you, in tandem through you. This is the beginning of the awakening to the God seed that is in the heart of each and every one of us, that is just waiting to be germinated. You have to kind of go into this dark night of the soul kind of thing and experience a death. And this is why the death card is right here. The death of the old you, the little caterpillar you, and the birth of the new you, transforming into your higher self. Now at this point, a big old lesson comes back out and says, are you really ready to change? Are you really ready to go down this pathway? And so now, what is your relationship to all of those earthly things? The people, the pleasures, the attractions, the desires, all of these things. How do these things serve you now? And are you still caught up in some of the funky aspects of all of that sort of interpersonal relationship, scallywag, scoundrelistically fun, crazy, get your freak on kind of stuff? And maybe you need to go back and review a little bit before you can kind of get to this higher self place. So we're going to give you a few more tests now at this new level, and it's a little more intensified. At that point, everything starts to break down. Everything starts to be just what was important before no longer is important. What you've built upon erroneously will just fall away magically without anything. What you hold on to that is false will be blown apart by a lightning bolt. And this is the tower. Now these are all grades of initiation. This is like where Jesus goes into the wilderness and faces the devil, who offers him the entire world if he'll just bow before him. This is you, my friend. You are this fool on this journey, this hero's journey, just like old Campbell said there, you know. Once you pass this test, the true enlightenment begins to come on board. And that light within you starts to really shine forth. And true mastery and power as a force in this universe comes online. And you're able to stand there naked before God in the universe and display your unique attributes and creative talents that belong solely to you, and how you can truly transform this realm into a higher state of being, a utopia, at least for yourself to begin with. At this point, we see the moon here, and all of our deep, hidden, subconscious things come into the true light. We pass the final gates here. We pass the final guardians, the flaming sword that bars our way into Eden. We come into the true light of the day, and we are born again. We become the dweej. We become the innocent as a child, experiencing life through new eyes and wonder for the first time in a long time. We come out of the grave of materiality, and we become one with God. We awaken, we see the big ahas, the eurekas, I found it, we get there. And then we come to the next birth gateway. This is like a big yoniverse vagina waiting to birth you, this little seed, in the next level of creativity. And from our third dimensional point of view here, we can't see what's next, but the next card is going to be a 22-4. And this is where the laws of the material world, fourth and fifth dimensional reality, come to play. So when you think it, so it becometh. And, you know, humanity, as long as we're caught up in these things and following our emperors and priests, humanity's just not ready to go there. We keep getting indicators through movies and media of how we're trying to mutate and move into our Harry Potter type powers. But as a whole, we're just not there yet. And it may take some big form of events like the total destruction of our society through COVID to get us to this point. So I'm asking you in these times when you have a little bit of extra time and things aren't going like they used to with the status quo, take this time to go within. Go on your own fool's journey. See where you are at, what lessons you're dealing with. Are you going through some sort of transmutation? Are you dealing with some sort of addictions? Do you feel totally helpless and need to surrender? Have you looked at the karmic lessons that keep coming back over and over again? I keep making the same choices and I can't get any different results. What's up with that? Can you lead yourself to your big aha? Can you take the reins of your own communion with God and the universe? Know thyself. Go within. Listen to the still small voice within. Become the magician who's ready to consciously go through the gateway into fourth dimension. Can you do that, my friends? Can you listen to Uncle Guido? Are you even interested in these sort of ideas? Huh? Old death smiles upon the lowly you attached to this material world. Oh, God is calling you home. God is calling you home, young sir, young madam. This world is getting ready to evolve. This world is getting ready to transmute, as are you, Uncle Guido, over on his fool's journey and out.